going to get into this craziness that happens with NOPD, and all of this information is coming from their family, so we don't have like 100% proof that all this happened. However, I believe it. I 100% believe that the family's telling the truth.
So police talked to Justin, and he gave several different stories and timelines, including a story that she left to go to a psych hospital, but neighbors say they never saw a cop searching the neighborhood, never saw Justin searching the neighborhood, and the cops say they can't begin an investigation until the body is identified with DNA.
This is what doesn't make sense to me about that story. So if she was leaving to go to a psych hospital, why did she leave her phone, her wallet, her keys, and everything at home?
He's probably just trying to make it seem that she was just like off the deep end, crazy or something, needing help, and because like he keeps saying he thinks she committed suicide throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's probably just leading up or giving him his little fake story a backbone.
I agree, but it still doesn't check out for me.
Mm-mm.
But so her body was so badly decomposed that they had to run DNA in order to identify the body, and this is just absolutely ridiculous. So first of all, it takes 2 weeks for them to even send a DNA swab to Jessica's mom so that she can like run the test and send DNA back in. So finally, once she gets that and sends it back in, we're now looking at, let's see, I'm losing track of the timeline. Where are we at?
Like September 1st.
Yeah, around like September 1st. So they think that they have this swab and they're doing DNA tests, and they just don't hear anything before more weeks that pass. So they call back up to NOPD, and they're like, hey, we're just checking to see how that DNA swab thing happened. Well, the police department tells them that the last time they saw that DNA was it got set on somebody's desk and then lost.
Yeah, no one knew where it went.
And no one knew where it went. So the entire time that the family thinks this investigation's happening, not a single thing has happened. It's been weeks now. So she ends up having to send in another DNA swab.
That's just ridiculous. Like, imagine you have your daughter that is murdered, and they can't even get the DNA swabs, right, to identify your daughter.
And it's the fact that it was like carelessness that lost all that time. Like that was like 5 weeks thrown away. Like something could have changed in that 5 weeks if they would have started an investigation way earlier.
Also, I want to point out, it took until September 2nd for Justin to even call Jessica's parents.
Yeah.
Like, if I went missing, I would call Jeremiah's dad. Or wait, if I went missing, Jeremiah would call my parents right the F away. Like, they've done it before. Like, I've been at school before, and Jeremiah didn't know I was in a class. And, like, he messaged my mom and was like, do you know where Marina is?
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm covered if I go missing.
But how awkward would that phone call be? Like, she's been missing for a month, and then you call?
Yeah, and I don't know what they talked about. I wish I did.
I know, it's really aggravating.
Okay, so then we get to November 8th when they receive official confirmation that the DNA from Jessica's mother matched the body found.
And then it took another 2 months for the coroner to release a statement. And so we're in January at this point now. And the coroner comes out and says that the cause of death is undetermined.
And Jessica's body will be released to the next of kin, which is her husband, Justin. But there's problems with all of that, the undetermined, the Justin, the everything. So, in terms of Justin, he never, ever talked to anyone again regarding her body. He did not contact the morgue to get her at all. Nothing. Did not care. So then, as far as the undetermined goes, where is the... Okay, the report was released on January 31st, and it said Jessica suffered a fractured nose, a broken jaw, a broken rib, and a broken C4 vertebra, which is in your neck. And this is often caused, like, it's not a very common fracture or broken bone, but it usually comes from either car wrecks or strangulation. Toxicology was limited because of the state of decomposition her body was in. All they could test was the liver tissue, and they found traces of methamphetamine and bupropion. But Jessica had fibromyalgia that she was prescribed for, so I think that must have been what the bupropion was. But as far as the meth goes, her family thinks that, because after contacting his ex-wives, they say that, like, he was obsessed with, like, uppers. And they wouldn't be surprised if, like, he got her hooked on it or even was, like, secretly giving it to her for other reasons.
One of their theories was that, so the medicine that she took for her, what's the name of the disease I'm going to say?
Fibromyalgia.
The medicine she took for that, like, makes you drowsy. And so they're saying that Justin offered her that or gave her that as a way to kind of, like, balance out and counteract the drowsiness. That seems a little bit off to me, but at the same time, who knows?
Yeah. But, like, I'm sorry, but a fractured nose, a broken jaw, broken rib, and possible strangulation evidence
That can't
just
happen from
lines
suicide.
up with domestic abuse.
Yeah.
That sounds like Jessica was trying to leave, Justin got mad and punched and beat the crap out of her and then dumped her body by the park. That's what it sounds like to me.
We literally have, like, 3 options here. It's either Justin, like, strangled and killed her and beat her, which is the most obvious option, which I don't know why everybody's pretending like that isn't the case. She killed herself, which is almost impossible, because how would she break her own nose, like, strangle herself,
Yeah.
and then just dump her own body into the middle of the park? And then the third option is some random person scooped her up and killed her, which is also incredibly unlikely.
But, and a lot of people are gonna say, wait, it was in New Orleans, it's one of, like, the most dangerous cities, but, like, near City Park, there's just, to me, I don't know how there were no cameras. Did they not look at to see if there was any cameras? Because, like, if the suicide theory was real and she was found near a tree line, if I was a cop, I'd be checking the tree lines for nooses and stuff just to rule that out, that it wasn't a suicide. Because, like, strangulation, you know, the broken vertebrae.
I didn't even think about that.
Like, falling to the ground, causing other injuries. But, like, I don't even think that's the case. But, like, the cops could have had that theory, but if they were thinking, but nobody ever thought that.
There's not a lot of information out on this case. Most of our information comes from everything we've learned from Kendall Rae, but I don't know. Yeah, there are some questions like that we need answered.
What else did it? I skipped over one part.
So.
Ooh, wait.
You got the bar part of Justin?
Yeah.
So Justin goes into a bar, like, a couple weeks after his wife is dead.
January 24th.
January 24th. And he notices this other girl, and he just keeps staring at her. And the girl's, like, horrified of him. Well, he comes up to the girl, and the girl's name was also Jessica, which he finds out.
I wonder if he had stopped.
Probably so. Well, he approaches the girl and says, "My wife's name's also Jessica, and she committed suicide." And then he tells her that he would like to take her clothes.
Dude.
Bro, so, like any rational person, this girl, Jessica, and her coworker call the police, and Justin gets detained for 24-hour observation.
Did you see the picture of the note? Because, like, I think I found a picture of it. Like, it looks like something just scattered and, like, random, like a sociopath would write.
Oh, wait, what is that from? I don't think I've seen that before.
Like, this note that he gave that girl.
Oh, he gave her a note?
Yeah.
I thought he, like, went up and talked to her.
Well, it said on, because I got, like, my timeline of events from the Justice for Jessica timeline on the website, and it said that Jessica in the bar was approached and given a note by Justin.
Heard. Oh, that's even weirder.
Like, some of the things it says on here, like, he lists out the purses that she had, like Kate Spade, Betsy Johnson, Marc Jacobs, the shoes, the clothes, jewelry, puts Grace, in parentheses, daughter. Like, it's literally, I have some furniture that I just don't need. Also threw that in there. Questions: do you like to shoot guns? Do you like knives? Do you drive or dive or want to learn? If you or your husband are into any of this, please let me know. What the hell? Like, this dude is crazy. Straight up crazy. But anyways, that same day of January 24th, Jessica's stepfather Rick and sister Audra go to New Orleans to meet with detectives, and they are told that they are now considering Jessica's case as a cold case, which is super rare because cold cases are old cases, and this one isn't even a year old yet.
Yeah, this happened in 2019, which was like right before COVID started. So like this is not very long ago at all.
They even declared it a cold case before COVID officially kicked off.
So this is infuriating to me because we see so many other cases. Like let's look at Chris Watts and stuff like this, where it's almost same circumstances. All of her stuff was left in the house, and immediately Chris Watts was like victim or suspect number one. And that's how it normally is. The husband
You should always look at the husband. It's the closest person to them.
And that just didn't happen with this one. They were like, oh no, he's fine.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that.
It makes you wonder, like, if he does have friends at the NOPD.
Exactly. And the fact that the evidence got misplaced. And then also we find out that they also found something else in that park, which nobody was alerted to. They found one of Jessica's blankets and then Jessica's ID, which was all crumpled up in that park as well.
Yeah, it was March 15th of 2020 that a couple in the Lakeview neighborhood contacted Jessica's sister, Audra, and tells her that they found her ID and blanket. And so Audra calls a detective and tells him what the couple had found just 15 yards away from where they found her body. They didn't even search within 15 yards of where they found her. And detectives say that he wants to talk to the couple about where they found the items. And then April 7th of 2020, Audra calls the Lakeview couple to follow up, and the couple tells Audra that nobody has contacted them, nor has there been any police presence where the ID and blanket were found. So then, on April 14th, Audra files a formal complaint with the Public Integrity Bureau for failing to properly investigate the death of Jessica Easterly Durning. Whew. And then...
So then we also get the 2 pieces of furniture that get thrown out.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm still like slightly confused at how this happened, but I guess Justin ended up throwing out like a futon and like a sofa from their house. Is that what it was?
A futon and a headboard.
Oh, it was in a headboard?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he ends up throwing it out at the end of his street for like donation pickup. And it says crime scene investigators took DNA from this to test. I guess...
They still don't have the results for.
Yes, which they still don't have the results for. And by the way, y'all, remember all this happened in like August of 2019? By Christmas Eve of 2020, Jessica's body was still in the morgue. That's over 400 days her body's just sitting in the morgue. And the results of the DNA test still haven't been discovered.
And it actually took like 2 months? No, April, May, June, July, August, September. It took 6 months for the police to go to that couple that found the ID and stuff to even see about it. Like, this stuff is so infuriating. Like, who is running NOPD? What kind of people?
NOPD at the very least needs to like issue a statement or something about this, because it just really is not okay and seems really sketchy.
Okay, so yeah, it was February 2nd of 2021 that the coroner released Jessica to the family due to lack of contact with her husband Justin, and she had spent a total of 530 days in the damn morgue.
But she didn't even get buried. Her family didn't even get to have a burial for her.
Like, I remember, because I've had quite a few people in my family pass away, and at max, it takes like a week for you to have like a funeral.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine having to wait a year and a half. Like, you can't even have an open casket at that point. Like, it's awful.
And the worst thing is, like, they can't even begin to start healing from this because nothing's happening. It's just like the day she disappeared, they're still in step 1.
And it's gotta be even more infuriating because it's so obvious what happened. And he's just living his life. So, also we need to talk about Jessica and Justin's job together that they had, because it throws in another theory that some people have. And that is that Jessica and Justin made adult content online under the names Vivian and Lance Anderson. And her family didn't know about this, and Maria only like vaguely knew about what she was doing. But Jessica worried that if she left Justin, she would lose her livelihood. And Justin lied to her and said that like he had a VPN blocking their content in the states that her family and friends lived in, which is a lie. VPNs don't work like that. And it took until November of 2019, and she died in August, for him to announce to her fans that she died, but he was still posting content of them after the body was found. Like,
And if that's not disgusting enough, in December of 2019, remember she died in August, he created 2 different GoFundMe accounts. One of them was for Jessica, and the other one, her funeral services, and the other one was for Vivian, which was like her online personality's funeral services. But to top it off, in the description box, he said people who donated would be promised special exclusive pictures of her, pieces of her clothing, or videos of this woman who just died.
that is the most disgusting thing.
If this man isn't guilty, he's the absolute worst human being in the world just for this.
If anything at all, if this case doesn't get justice like it deserves, we need to plaster this guy's face everywhere so everyone could recognize him and be like, fuck you, dude.
Like, that is just so disrespectful. How can you marry somebody that you love and you promise to cherish your entire life, and then treat them in their memory like this? All that's left of her right now is memory, and you're just desecrating it with stuff like this.
Sickening. And it turns out that Justin had been arrested before for a lot of things: assault, unlawful possession of a firearm, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, a probation violation, and domestic violence, and has a history of lying, allegedly. He lied about his background in the military because they confirmed with an ex-wife of his he never even enrolled in boot camp, and yet he's never been named even as a suspect. His dad was living at the house at the time of Jessica's death, and even his dad was never questioned. Gracie was never questioned, which I understand that she's a minor, but still, cops have questioned like toddlers over cases. Yeah. The house or the vehicle was never searched. I just don't understand how nothing was searched. They said it on the scene. One of them said this is a homicide investigation, and then just continued to just say, never mind.
How is any of that okay? The answer is it's not. This was not treated like a crime case from the very beginning. It was mishandled awfully, and time after time after time again, NOPD mishandled this case, and it's just clear as day.
And some of the other theories are that she was being stalked by an online fan, but at the end of the day, the timeline for that is just unrealistic. The way she was calling Maria, and then just communication was cut after a bad fight. And then there's, of course, Justin's claim of suicide, and then the fact that the toxicology report had drugs in her system. So that leads to the suicide theory. And then detectives had their story that said that maybe she wandered into the woods and caused those injuries to herself and just fell out and died.
How are you causing those injuries to yourself in the woods? How are you breaking your nose, like fracturing this rare part of your vertebrae by walking through the woods?
The fact that she has fibromyalgia, my mom has fibromyalgia. And I can tell you right now, my mom would not feel like getting up from her house and going to take a walk in the woods. And honestly, the only reasonable theory that I could see her getting those injuries in the woods is if she were to climb in a tree and fall. Yeah. And with fibromyalgia, my mom's ass would not climb a tree because, like, everything hurts when you have that. Like, it's nerve pain everywhere. So, like, she's not out there just running in the woods. I can almost guarantee you that. But at the end of the day, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, for her family at least. because after Kendall Ray's video, there was a petition to get the New Orleans District Attorney Jason R. Williams to re-examine the case, and as of right now, it has over 65,000 signatures, and along with the endless amount of phone calls to the district attorney's office and emails, so many emails that they began blocking incoming emails. They put out an announcement saying, District Attorney Williams is absolutely willing to meet with the family of Jessica Easterly Durning to discuss this horrible matter. He is also committed to re-examining this matter with fresh eyes and revisiting all facts and evidence involved. With this case and any other New Orleans, DA Williams is dedicated to seeking justice. And they put that out within 48 hours of Kendall putting out her video. So,
good for you, Kendall.
the true crime community came through. And I remember I watched that video and I signed the petition. I shared the video on Facebook. Not one person liked, commented, did anything to that video. So I posted a salty post the next day, and I was like, since none of y'all saw my last video, I didn't need y'all, turns out, because the true crime community did it on their own. And Jessica's family says that the DA kept his promise and met with him, but they're unable to discuss the details publicly, and they're super grateful for everyone's help and support. So at this point, we just have to cross our fingers that this new DA can see through the bullshit and see clearly what's painted in front of everyone's eyes.
Definitely looking forward to the day that I hear some type of update on this case.
And honestly, I'm just saying, the NOPD needs to be investigated regardless, because they also just got sued for discrimination. Fun fact. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that, but I mean, go look, just do a Google search of the crappy things that the NOPD has been involved in. When we did the pharmacy episode, the NOPD was at that doctor's front door, telling people to take pills for money, basically. This is why we have the problem we have with cops. I can't. But if you want to stay updated on the case, they have a website. It's www.justice4jessica.org, and they have a Twitter page at justice for the letter 4, the number 4. Yeah, the number 4, Jess _. So if you want to stay updated, go follow those. And got anything else?
Yeah, and y'all, if y'all are experiencing any type of domestic abuse, physical abuse, reach out, get help from somewhere, because nobody thinks it's going to happen to them until they're stuck in that. And once you are stuck in that situation, it is so hard to escape and to get out of it. So don't ignore those red flags and those warning signs. Take that seriously.
Even if you just tell one person, let somebody know what you're going through, so if something does happen to you, someone knows where to start. At the very least of it. And if you have friends out there going through it, you better be their support system. You better help them. And if they call you in the middle of the night one night and say that they need you, you can risk that night of sleep to go save a friend.
100% agree. Alright, y'all. Well, make sure y'all reach out to us. We love hearing from y'all and talking to y'all at any time y'all just want to message us. Thank y'all for everybody that has messaged us so far.
Yeah, we love y'all so much.
Alright, Southern Woke fam. Other than that, make sure you follow us on the socials. Follow me at Kaylin Mercado.
And me at Marina Renee.
And we will see y'all next week with a brand new episode. Stay woke.
Bye.